Robert A. Leonard is best known as a leading American expert in forensic linguistics, which is the application of the scientific study of language to issues of the law. He is a professor of linguistics and director of the graduate program in forensic linguistics at Hofstra University, and has provided expert testimony in numerous high-profile criminal and civil cases, analyzing legal materials such as contracts, ransom notes, confessions, and threatening letters for evidence of authorship, meaning, or intent. Then pursue his academic career and eventually become a sought-after language detective for clients including the FBI Behavioral Analysis Unit, the Prime Minister of Canada, and corporations like Apple. Robert A. Leonard's early life was marked by a highly unusual transition from rock star to academic. While an undergraduate at Columbia University, he became a founding member and bass singer of the rock and roll revival group Sha-Na-Na. The band achieved instant fame after performing at the legendary Woodstock Festival in 1969, where Leonard famously sang the lead on Teen Angel. However, the path to his future profession was set when he had to analyze the band's recording contract, which he realized was legally flawed, an experience he often cites as his first forensic linguistics gig. He left the music business at age 21 to pursue his academic path, earning his PhD in linguistics from Columbia and spending several years conducting extensive sociolinguistic fieldwork in East Africa before becoming one of the world's foremost forensic linguists. 1980, Swahili ka and Nge as signals of meanings. Studies in African Linguistics 11:209-226. 1985, Swahili Demonstratives, Evaluating the Validity of Competing Semantic Hypotheses. Studies in African Linguistics 16:281-293. Explores the requirements of theoretical adequacy in the construction of explanatory hypotheses. 1987, Response to Wilt, Discourse Distances and the Swahili Demonstratives. Studies in African Linguistics 18:97-105. 1988, Swahili Phrasebook. Victoria, Australia, and Berkeley, California, Lonely Planet Publications. 1990, MC- Meaning in the Marketplace American Speech 65-4 predating the phrasebook. This lexicographic study dissects the MC prefix in American branding, e.g. McMansion, McJob, framing prefixes as arbitrary semiotic signs, a framework that became a cornerstone of Leonard's authorship analysis, enabling him to distinguish idiolectal patterns in anonymous texts like the JonBenet Ramsey ransom note. 1991, Swahili Phrasebook, Lonely Planet Publications, co-authored with Thomas Hinabus. This compact guide emerged from Leonard's Fulbright fieldwork in Kenya 1974 to 1975 and remains a staple in Lonely Planet's heritage series. Beyond basic phrases, it embeds sociolinguistic insights into East African Bantu dialects, highlighting register shifts in coastal market skills Leonard later repurposed for decoding coded threats in forensic cases. 1992, Food, Drink, and Swahili Public Space, Oxford Symposium on Food and Cookery 1991, published in Harlan Walker's Public Eating Proceedings Prospect Books, reprinted 2004. This chapter analyzes nonverbal semiotic systems in Swahili marketplaces, observing that food stall layouts encode social hierarchy, a finding that prefigures Leonard's forensic work on spatial metaphors in extortion notes, such as lettuce for cash in Chicago corruption cases. 1994, Money and Language. In John Digatani, ed. Money, Lure, Lore and Literature. Westport, Con Greenwood Press. pp. 3-13. Analyzes the common theoretical semantic underpinnings of linguistic and true monetary systems, arbitrariness, lexicographic and historical linguistic analysis of lexical semantics of money terms, sociolinguistics of some closed codes regarding money. 1995, Notes on Yuki, East African honey wine, a sociological linguistic semiotic study of an African traditional beverage which I was taught to brew and use ceremonially when I sat on the Elders' Council of the Akamba. In Harland Walker, ed. Oxford Symposium 1994. London, Prospect Books. 1995, Deixis in Swahili, Attention Meanings and Pragmatic Function. In Ellen Kontinai-Morava and Barbara Goldberg, eds Meaning as Explanation, Advances in Sign-Based Linguistics. Berlin, Mouton de Gruyter. This article, using data from the grammatically complex East African language Swahili, analyzes the use of deictics such as demonstratives by speakers and writers in structuring the information flow of language. 1998, The Asian Pacific American Heritage, A Companion to Literature and Arts, Routledge, co-edited. Leonard co-edited this outstanding academic book and authored 3 chapters: Dialect, Slang, and Standard Languages, pages 45 to 62, Southeast Asian Food, pages 215 to 230, and Food and Ethnic Identity, pages 231 to 245, applying sociolinguistics to cultural boundaries and laying groundwork for linguistic profiling in hate crime investigations with the NYPD. 2001, DARE's Role in Linguistic Profiling, Dictionary of American Regional English Newsletter, a concise piece linking regional dialect data from DARE to forensic authorship attribution. Leonard's early use of dialect maps to narrow suspect pools, later validated in FBI BAU trainings, demonstrated how YAL or SOTA could geographically anchor anonymous threats. 2003, Linguistics and the Law, Legal Times, June 16. This op-ed introduced forensic linguistics to legal practitioners, citing cases where misparsed confessions led to wrongful convictions. Leonard's call for linguistic experts in courtrooms gained traction after his 2004 testimony in a Nassau County bomb threat trial. 2004, Forensic Linguistics, an eclectic look at NYPD Blue in Glenn Yefetha's pop culture analysis. Leonard dissects interrogation scenes from the TV series, advocating mandatory videotaping, his linguistic evidence of coercive phrasing in real cases, e.g., Illinois torture inquiry, 2016, later influenced state recording laws. 2005, Police Interrogation Needs Videotape, Newsday op-ed building on the NYPD Blue chapter. This piece cites semantic pragmatic markers of false confessions, pauses, hedging, negation shifts detectable only in full recordings. Leonard's advocacy helped pass New York's 2008 electronic recording mandate. 2005, Forensic Linguistics, International Journal of the Humanities 3A foundational peer-reviewed article defining the field: authorship analysis, threat assessment, and contract interpretation, with case studies including Leonard's exclusion of John Ramsey via punctuation patterns in the 1997 ransom note. 2006, Forensic Linguistics, Applying the Scientific Principles of Language Analysis to Issues of the Law. 2006, Plenary Address on the Use of Linguistic Evidence in Trials. 2006, Language and Ethnic Identification, New York Law Journal. Drawing on 25 years of fieldwork, Leonard explores how sociolinguistic cues signal ethnicity in hate crimes. His analysis of slurs' phonetic degradation aided NYPD Hate Crimes Task Force profiling in over 200 cases. 2006, Semantic Analysis of Swahili Applicative Verbal Extension, Lee. Co-author Wendy Saliba. In Advances in Functional Linguistics, Columbia School Beyond Its Origins, Gorup, Davis, and Stern, eds Amsterdam, John Benjamins. A New Analysis of a Thorny Problem in Theoretical Semantics, How Context-Sensitive Can Grammatical Meaning Be, Using Data from a Widely Examined Issue in Swahili Semantics, The Applicative Extension, Lee. 2006, Meaning in Non-Linguistic Systems. In Advances in Functional Linguistics, Columbia School Beyond Its Origins, Gorup, Davis, and Stern, eds Amsterdam, John Benjamins. This article seeks to extend the boundaries of linguistic semantic theory and socio-linguistic variation theory to non-linguistic non-random systematized arbitrary expressions of meaning, specifically behaviors dealing with food, architectural space, private space, and construction of social and gender identity, using data author collected primarily from ancient city-states in East Africa, and from the US and SE Asia as well. 2011, Kenya in Food Cultures of the World Encyclopedia 4 volumes. Albala, Ken, ed. Westport, Con, Greenwood Press. This article, through a sociological, linguistic, and semiotic study of food behavior, explores history, culture, religion and social meaning in a post-colonial nation-state. 2011, The Swahili City-States Food Cultures of the World Encyclopedia. Leonard's entry in Greenwood's encyclopedia links ancient East African food systems to public space semiotics. The chapter's methodology tracing linguistic fossils in cuisine mirrors his forensic tracing of idiolectal fossils in digital threats. 2012, Rättslinguistik, Språkforskaren som efterforskar och expertvidne forensic linguistics, The Linguist as Investigator and Expert Witness, translated into Danish by Nicoline Munch-Vinther. Mal og Mal New Knowledge About Language and Linguistics 35.3. 11-1 2012, Forensic Linguistics, The Linguist as Investigator and Expert Witness. Mal og Mal, Danish translation originally presented in Copenhagen. This article details Leonard's voice analysis in a Long Island bomb threat case, spectral matching of fricatives narrowed suspects from 400 to 1 later convicted. 2012, Words on Trial. The New Yorker, July 23. Profiled as one of the foremost language detectives, Leonard analyzes the Christopher Coleman murders, linking biblical phrasing in threats to Coleman's idiolecta, connection that secured a conviction and brought national attention to forensic linguistics. 2012, Hold the ZD, Code Words in Corruption. The New York Times. A light-hearted yet rigorous op-ed on food metaphors in bribery. ZD for Cash in The Sopranos, Lettuce in Chicago, Leonard's decoding aided federal prosecutions and popularized forensic linguistics. 2014, Forensic Linguistics in the Age of Digital Threats. Profile, Austria consulted after training British MI5. This piece addresses anonymized online threats, Leonard's multilayered analysis syntax, emoji pragmatics, metadata foiled a 2013 parliamentary bomb plot. 2015, The Groundbreaking Science of Forensic Linguistics Polyglot Conference, Budapest. Keynote proceedings on espionage cases, including Leonard's 2010 Senate impeachment testimony. Judge Thomas Porteous, his tracing of ghostwritten clauses exposed perjury via stylistic drift. 2017, Forensic Linguistics, Applying the Science. Handbook of Behavioral Criminology, co-authored with Julianne E. R. Ford. This 22-page chapter standardizes FBI threat assessment protocols, with case studies spanning Unabomber consultations 1995 to Beverly Hills extortion 2015. 2015, The Groundbreaking Science of Forensic Linguistics, Solving Crimes by Analyzing Language. 2017, Forensic Linguistics in Handbook of Behavioral Criminology, Contemporary Strategies and Issues. Van Hasselt, Vincent, and Michael Bork, eds Springer. 2017, Forensic Linguistics, Applying the Science of Linguistics to Issues of the Law. Co-authors Julianne Ford and Tanya Carolee Christensen. 45 Hofstra Law Review 881. 2018, Keynote Address on the Intersection of Language, Law, and Semiotic Analysis. 2018, Robert Leonard on Forensic Linguistics. 2018, Communicating Linguistic Theory and Analyses to Judge and Jury. Hofstra Law Review 46-2, co-authored with students from Hofstra's Forensic Linguistics Innocence Project, This article outlines strategies for presenting complex linguistic evidence in court, using semantic coercion markers from Melissa Lucio's 2007 confession to demonstrate how subtle grammatical shifts reveal false statements analysis that contributed to her 2022 stay of execution. 2018, Forensic Linguistics, Applying the Science of Linguistics to Issues of the Law Excited Utterance podcast, Vanderbilt Law School. In this 45-minute audio discussion with Julianne Ford, Leonard performs live authorship analysis on a mock ransom note, distinguishing human from AI-generated text via syntactic complexity and punctuation anomalies, illustrating Daubert-compliant methods now taught in FBI training modules. 2020, Forensic Linguistics, Using Language Analysis to Solve Crimes with the FBI Focus on Authorship and Threat Assessment. 2021, Forensic Linguistics, Using Inductive Inference and Linguistic Pattern Recognition to Solve Crimes with the FBI. 2024, Opening Plenary, Forensic Linguistics in the Cause of Justice, including the Capital Case Innocence Project. 2025, Forensic Linguistics Applications to Intelligence, Law Enforcement, Counterterrorism, and Threat Assessment. 2025 Forthcoming, Linguistic Profiling in the United States, Teachers' Attitudes and Perspectives Towards Students with Non-Standard American English Dialects and Language Use. Brackenridge Endowed Chair Series, University of Texas. Drawing on DARE data and Leonard's amicus briefs in education discrimination cases, this chapter exposes bias against non-standard dialects in classrooms, arguing that sociolinguistic profiling once used to solve crimes can now combat systemic inequity in education and employment. 2026 Forthcoming, The Language of Murder Cases, Forensic Linguistics for Legal Professionals. Leonard's long-awaited book synthesizes over 600 cases from the JonBenet Ramsey ransom note to modern digital stalking, offering a practitioner's guide to semantic pragmatic analysis, idiolect tracing, and threat deconstruction, with annotated transcripts and judicial admissibility frameworks.